Hi, budding structural engineers. Welcome to the structural engineering lectures on limit state design of steel structures, conforming to Indian standard IS 800 2007. General construction in steel code of practice. The other day we have discussed geometrical properties as well as structural properties conforming to SP 61 1964. The handbook for structural engineers, structural steel sections, right? Now in today's class we shall see the geometrical properties as well as structural properties conforming to SP 61 1964, the handbook for structural engineers, structural steel sections, right? Now let us move to the discussions. Now let us move back to the section B, where we are dealing with now beams, channels and compound sections when used as girders, right? When used as girders, right? Then the table 11, economy in selection of beams and channels used as flexible members based on section modulus, right? If I use Indian standard wide flange beam designated as ISWB 600 with a unit weight of 145.1 kg, then it can furnish a section modulus of 3854.2 centimeter cube or 3854.2 10 to power 3 mm cube, right? This can have a shear carrying capacity of 66.9 10 to power 3 kg, means 66.9 tons or 66.9 10 to power 3 multiplied by 10 newtons means 66.9 kilonewton as appropriated. 66.9 tons metric tons or 66.9 kilonewtons as appropriate. Like that you can see for other sections also, right? Indian standard lightweight beams, Indian standard medium weight beams, etc., right? Even for you can see for channel sections also, right? However, here if you want to choose the section, you just choose the section based upon the modulus of section modulus ZXX, and you check for the shear capacity. If that shear capacity is okay, then you can choose that section. Otherwise you can use another section, right? Whereas these asterisk indicates the light weights, right? If two sections are there, these are what, right? Somewhat better sections, right? Then let us see the other table, right? Like this, right? Now I have to have allowable uniform loads on beams with adequate lateral support. If adequate lateral support to the compression flange is there in the form of say a RCC slab connected to this, then that is what called adequate lateral support to the compression plane, like this, right? Therefore in such a case, how much such sections can resist when they are used as the beams. Now it is given, right? Like this, if I use ISLB 600, its dimension is 600 by 210, right? Therefore there is a H and B in mm with a unit weight of 99.5 kg per meter. If I use that for different spans varying from 1 meter to say so on and so forth up to 15 meters, how much of UDL I can permit in terms of kgs per unit length, right? Kg in 10 to power 3 are so many tons per meter or so many kilonewton per meter, right? That is how for each of this length, right? Now let us see an example of if I use this ISLB 600 with a 6 meter span, then I can permit up the maximum permissible load is 51 in 10 to power 3 kg per meter or 51 ton per meter or 51 kilonewton per meter, right? That is how it can take up to that load safely, right? Whereas even you can see for other sections also up to ISWB 550. However, you are even up to ISWB 600, right? Then what are the deflections in centimeters for this ISWB 600? If I use these four types of ISWB 600s with the 600 by 210 to up to 600 by 250, then what is that deflection? Let us say for the same IS LB 600 with 6 meter span, right? 51, which it can resist 51 kilonewton per meter. Then the deflection is equal to 0.94 centimeter or 9.4 mm, 9.4 mm, right? Likewise you can see for other sections, right? Whereas this even we do have the dotted lines here, right? The loads above this full line can be unload provided the webs are strengthened, right? Above this full line can be, if the webs are strengthened in the compression zone, right? And the second note is that if right, the this dotted line indicates that in the case of the loads below the dotted line, the deflection exceeds the limit of 1/325 of the span, right? Therefore you should be cautious while using these sections below these dotted lines, because they are now exceeding the deflection limits of 1/325, deflection limits of 325. Even you should be cautious when you are using the lines above this full line, because you need to strengthen them in shear, right? That is how you can see for other section students, right? Now let us move quickly to the other discussions, right? That is how the different sections are now for different sections, right? These are given right, for ISLB 325, right? ISLB 325, so on and so forth, right? So on and so forth. Now let us move quickly to the other discussions as like this, right? Now next type of discussions are this table 14, when single joist with additional plates on both flanges to be used as girders, right? That is how ISM Indian Standard Road Steel beam sections, when they are provided with a plate on compression zone as well as a tension zone, then what are the properties that we'll now note down, right? That is how the Indian Standard wide flange beam with designation ISWB 150 having a width of 160 mm, right? Right, if it all is provided with a cover plate of 160 by a thickness of 10 mm, then its unit weight is 42.1 kg per meter, furnishing a section modulus of sectional area in terms of centimeter square 53.67 or 5367 mm square, and the mean thickness of the flanges, right? The flanges, either compression flange or that of the tension flange, can be taken as 14.4, and this extreme fiber distance is at a distance of 8.5 centimeter or 85 mm, and the gross moment of inertia about the major axis of bending XX is 2889.8 centimeter to the power 4, and about the minor axis of bending or vertical axis of the bending, is equal to 777.5, and the least radius of gyration about this weak axis is equal to 3.81 centimeter or 38.1, right? And the modulus of section about the strong axis, this strong axis, right, about the major axis of bending, right, is equal to 340 centimeter cube or 340 into 3 mm cube, right? That is how the maximum allowable movement, what it can be, what we can permit is 5.4 10 to the power 3 kg meter, or it is equal to 54 kilonewton meter, right? 5.4 10 to the power 3 multiplied by 10, that 10 means it is equal to 54 10 to the power 3 means kilo, right? 54 kilonewton meter, and maximum allowable shear is equal to 7.7 10 to the power 3 kg or 7.7 metric tons, or it is equal to 77 kilonewtons, right? Like that, you can see for other thicknesses also, 12, 16, 20, right? 25 with a width of 160 with a thickness of 10, 12, 16, 20, 25, etc. If I provide, that is all the different geometrical properties. Now this will be acting as of the ready reckoners when you are designing these as the beams, right? The built-up beams, when you are using these as built-up beams. Now let us move to the next discussion, students, right? There is the different for different sections these are available, right? Right now the next step of table is if this table 15 single joist when with channel and plates on the flanges to be used as girder, right? This is how the Indian standard rolled steel beam section is provided with a plate in the tension zone, and is provided with a channel in the compression zone, Then how much of area and how much of amount of inertia we can note down from this table, right? Now that is how, if I have this first section ISMB 600 at the rate of 122.6, if I have a channel in the compression zone as ISMC 400 at the rate of 49.4 kg per meter, then in the same compression zone, if I am using a plate of width 320 width and 10 mm thick, if I am using that, and also if I am using a bottom plate of 320 width and 20 mm thick, then the total weight of this compound girder, generally these girders can be used as the gantry girder sections. These are generally referred to as the gantry girder sections, where the crane loads are expected to be put on these girders, right? Generally these are referred to as gantry girder sections, right? There the weight of this compound section or built up section is equal to 247.4 kg per meter, and it can furnish a sectional area of 315.14 centimeter square, and the center of gravity CXX as moved upwards, because now we do have the different materials, therefore it has moved upward, right? If I take just ISMB 300 section, the CXX should have been there at 300 mm, but it has just moved upward, right? Therefore that is how it is there at a distance of 29.18 when measured from top of that extreme compression fiber, right? That is all, this distance, right? Now next, similarly, now you can have the mean thickness of the top flange is equal to 27.5 mm and the mean thickness of the bottom flange as 33.6 mm, for which what are the relevant properties? The other relevant properties are like that the extreme fiber distance is notated by EXX is 34.68. Now we have found out the CG, right? That is how this CG with respect to this horizontal axis, this CG distance is now 34.68 centimeter or 346.8, and EYY, this extreme fiber distance about this y-axis is equal to 20, right? Whereas out of these, right, out of this fiber, right, for the channel and compared to that of this plate, right, this plate is at an extreme distance of 34.68 or 346.8. This end of this plate is at an extreme fiber distance of 346.8 compared to that of this channel. This is a smaller distance. However, this same plate is at an extreme fiber distance of 200 mm from the vertical YY or minor axis YY axis, right? And corresponding to that, the gross moment of inertia about the major axis of bending 23589 2.2 centimeter to the power 4, and that of the moment of inertia of the whole section about the vertical axis 25925.8 centimeter to the power 4, and that of the top flange only, that of the just top flange means only that of the channel section, as well as channel section along with that of the plate, and along with that of the compression flange of that of this ISMB section, what now I am highlighting, right? This flange, top flange only, what now highlighted here is only that much of part only is including that of the rolled steel flange of that of the rolled steel beam section, including that of the rolled steel section. This what I am highlighting here, right? That is equal to 19,138.6 centimeter to the power 4, and the radius of gyration about minor axis is equal to 9.07 centimeter, and the section modulus about major axis of bending 8084.1 centimeter cube, and about minor axis of bending is equal to 6801.9 centimeter cube, and the maximum allowable movement in terms of ton meter is equal to 107.1 ton meter or 107.1 10 to the power 3 kg meter. However, that kg itself is 10 newtons. Therefore, that now I can say multiplied by 10 newtons means 1071 kilonewton meter is the maximum allowable movement, 1071 kilonewton meter or 107.1 ton meter with maximum allowable shear capacity of 68 10 to the power 3 kg or 68 metric tons in the web 68 metric tons or 668 multiplied by 10, approximately 10 newtons. 10 multiplied by 10 to the power 3 means 680 kilonewton is the maximum allowable shear in the web, right? That is how for different other section you can refer back to this table, student, right, like that. Now let us move quickly to other sections and their uses when used as girders, right? That is how the different sections ISWB 500 and other sections ISWB 450, etc., right? Now I'll move quickly to other discussions like this, right? As table 16 single channel with another channel on the top of the flange, right? This is how a channel is provided with another channel on the compression flange, right? Then what are the geometrical or structural properties or geometrical properties are given like this. What is that width B, right? What is that depth H, and what is that where is the CG axis or centroidal axis CXX, and what is that EXX, right, etc. are given here, right? Now let us see this ISMC 75 means that depth is 75 as well as that width is also 75, because now I am having ISMC 75, therefore its depth itself is 75, therefore this dimension is now referred to as H by B as 75 by 75, right? And if I am using on the top flange ISMC 75, therefore ISMC 75 as a vertical channel section and as well as the horizontal channel section in the compression zone is also ISMC 75, then the dimension is 75 by 75. Then it's a unit weight. This is a compound section which can be used as a girder, even like a gantry girder section, students, right? Then or a joist section as appropriate, or the purlin sections as appropriate, right? Then therefore its total weight is 13.6 kg per meter, or 136 Newton, approximately 136 Newton per meter, and the sectional area is equal to 17.34 centimeter square, or 1734 mm square, and the mean thickness of the top flange TC is equal to 8.3 mm, and that of the bottom flange is equal to 7.3. Then what are the sectional properties, right? Where this extreme fiber distance EXX is at a distance of 2.75 centimeter or 27.5 mm, and this this CXX is the center of gravity, right? Center of gravity with respect to the top compression flange is at a distance of 27.5 mm, whereas this extreme fiber distance is at a distance of 51.9 mm, and the moment of gross moment of inertia about the major axis of bending is equal to 124.6 centimeter to the power 4, and about minor axis IYY moment of inertia is equal to 88.6 centimeter to the power 4, right? And the radius of gyration about this weak axis or minor axis is equal to 2.26 centimeter, and the modulus of section about the XX axis is equal to 45.3, as well as about that weak axis is equal to 24 centimeter cube, and the maximum allowable movement is 0.4 ton meter, or 0.4 10 to the power 3 kg meter, or 4 kilonewton meter. It is 4 kilonewton meter is the maximum allowable movement, right? Like that you can please see for other sections also, right? Like that ISMG 350, etc. Now let us move to the other discussion as a table 17, which furnishes the moment of inertia for two flanges per centimeter width, right? That is per 1 unit width with a thickness of T, different thicknesses, right? Maybe the thickness may be 9, maybe the thickness may be 9, 10, 11, so on and so forth up to 25, about this major axis of bending XX axis, right? For different depths H, right? Therefore, if I have a depth of say 7.5 centimeter or 75 mm, if I am using a flange of 9 mm in compression as well as a tension, about compression as well as tension flange like this, then how much of moment of inertia about this horizontal or major axis of bending? It can furnish 31.9 centimeter to the power 4. Therefore, using this, now you can calculate, you can take the rolled steel section, to which directly you can add this moment of inertia extra, right? If at all you are using 9 mm thickness, like that if you are using the other thickness of 10, 11, 12, etc., 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 25, right? That is how this table will give the moment of inertia. Therefore, this can be used for the built-up sections, right? Even the other table, what can be used for getting the moment of inertia and other properties of the built-up sections are like this, right? Previously, we have seen these are in the these are for flanges, compression flange as well as tension flange, right? Therefore, if I am using Indian standard plated girder section, then what is the moment of inertia of this web using this plate, right? Of this much of depth, right? A depth of 8 centimeter or 80 centimeter with a thickness of 6 mm, about this major axis of bending, right? It furnishes a moment of inertia of 25.6 centimeter to the power 4 if I am using a thickness of 6. Like that, if you use this 8 mm depth with 7 mm, then it furnishes 29.9, and with other depths, with other thicknesses, you can see 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Maximum of this 80 mm depth with the 12 mm plate thickness can furnish 51.2 centimeter to the power 4. That is of the moments of inertia of the webs, so that you can readily use them in calculation, right? Followed by even if I have the web thickness of 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 and 25, that is how that same 80 depth can furnish 106.7 centimeter to the power 4, 106, right, starting from a plate of 6 thick which furnishes 25.6, slowly increasing to 106.7. almost I do have a difference of approximately approximately 70, a difference of approximately 70, right? And that is how that much of difference, centimeter to the power 4, right? Likewise, if uh, a plate of 250 centimeters, means a large depth plate, right? 2.5 meters, right? Welded plate girder sections, generally they will be used for welded plate girder sections like this, right? Welded plate girder section, right? 2.5 meter depth can furnish with a 25 plate thickness of, you can see the value, student, right? A large amount of inertia, right? 3255208.3 centimeter to the power 4, right? These are generally used for welded plate girder sections, right? That is how the moment of inertia of that of the only plate, web plate only, right? And next table is that of the table um, um, uh, 19, student, which furnishes the reduction for area for rivet holes, like this, right? If I have a hole, right, for the rivet like this, right? Now I am showing an angle section with two holes in the connected leg. Then if I am using a diameter of 12 mm dia, then the rivet hole diameter is 13.5, because 12 plus 1.5 as per the code, 1.5 extra. Therefore, if that is true, then if the thickness of the metal is 5 mm, this thickness is 5 mm, therefore now I do have how much of reduction for this rivet hole. This rivet hole is nothing but this 5 multiplied by this dt. D is equal to 12, d is equal to d is equal to 13.5 multiplied by t, 5, right? Therefore there is a 13.5 multiplied by 5. Now I'll get 67.5 mm square, or it is rounded off to 0.68 centimeter square. That is how over this rivet hole diameter, that much of diameter is lost at 13.5 multiplied by 5, that now works out 67.5, right? Likewise, you can see, say, for other values of the rivets, say 14, right? The rivet diameters are 12 or 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Accordingly, you can see if the thickness is 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, so on and so forth, up to a thickness of 63 mm thickness, right? 63 mm thickness with a rivet of 24 with a rivet hole of 25.5, then the loss of the area of the rivet holes is 16.06 centimeter square. 16.6 centimeter square is the loss of this one. And even if I have the rivets of 27, right, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42 and 48, for which the rivet hole diameter is equal to 50, then if I have the thickness as 63, then the rivet hole area of the rivet hole is equal to 31.5 centimeter square, right? That is how the rivet hole areas. Now sometimes we are using the sections compound or built up girder sections, right, where I'll have a web plate, right? Web plate along with the 4 angles, right? 2 angles in the compression flange as well as 2 angles in the tension flange, along with a compression plate compression flange plate as well as tension flange plate. That is what called a compound or built up girder section with flange plates and flange angles, right? Then what are the geometrical properties or structural steel section properties, right? Therefore, if I have the web plate width is equal to 800 mm with a thickness of 12, and if I am having the flange angles, right, ISA 150 by 150 by 80 by 18, like this. ISA 150 by 150 by 18. If I use that, then the flange plates, this is the web plate. I'm sorry, student. This is a web plate with a depth of 800 mm depth. This much of depth, 800 mm depth with a thickness of that web as 12 mm. If it is provided with flange angles, right, 2 flange angles in compression zone, 2 flange angles with ISA 150 by 150 by 18, right, and if it is provided with the flange plates in compression as well as tension zones, right, of 400, right, the 0 means if at all this flange angle is not at all provided, means just only flange angles are only there, right? If 0 means this plate is not provided. If this plate is there means 400 by 12, right? That is how. If I don't provide a plate, then you use 0, right? If you provide a plate, you use that plate thickness of 12, 16, 20, 25, etc., right? That is how, up to 40 mm, right? Accordingly, if you don't use any plate, then just a web plate along with 4 angles, its unit weight is equal to 234.8 kg per meter, having a sectional area of 299.16 centimeter square, students, and its mean thickness of the flange in the compression as well as tension zones is equal to 18, right? So on and so forth you can note down. Whereas the other relevant properties in such a case, what is that distance of extreme fiber, right? This is what EXX, notated by EXS, is 40 centimeter, and what is the gross moment of inertia about major axis of bending is equal to 313.161.8, and about minor axis of bending 9245.6 centimeter to the power 4, and radius of gyration about minor axis or weak axis is equal to 5.56 centimeter, and this about this minor axis, and the section modulus about the major axis of bending ZXX in centimeter cube as 7829.0, 7829 centimeter cube, and the maximum allowable movement is equal to 117.4 ton meter, right, or it is equal to 1174 kilonewton meter, and its maximum allowable shear capacity is equal to 90.7 tons or 907 kilonewton on the girder section. Generally that shear will be taken by the web, right? That web can resist the shear, right? That much of permissible shear, students, right? Like that you can see the other sections, how much they furnish from these tables, right? Now I'll quickly move to the other discussion, students, right? Like this, wherein I do have the other tables giving the other information, like this. All these are the same discussions, but same discussion, students, same discussions, right? Now if let us see the other table 21, plate and angle girders. If I don't have any flange there, in the previous case you have seen a flange, here without flange, right? That is a web of 800 mm by 10 mm thick with a flange angle of ISA 100 by 100 by 10 with the equal angle section, then it can furnish 122.6 kg per meter, and it gives an area, sectional area of 156.12 centimeter square, and the mean thickness of the flanges is equal to 10, and the distance of the extreme fiber notated by EXX is 40 centimeter or 400 mm. And the other relevant properties are that what is the moment of inertia about major axis of bending 148,486.2 centimeter to the power 4, and about minor axis 1563.8 centimeter to the power 4, and the minimum radius of gyration about the weak axis 3.16 centimeter, and modulus of section about the major axis of bending ZXX 3712.2 centimeter cube, and the maximum allowable moment is equal to 55.7 ton meter or 557 kilonewton meter, and the maximum allowable shear is 75.6 tons or 756 kilonewton, right? Like that you can see. Now for other sections without flanges also, the previous table was with flanges, now this is without flanges. Now next table is that of table 22, properties of two angles back to back, like this, right? If another angle is also there, back to back, then how much of, like this, right? Two angles back to back, then equal angles with ISA 50 by 50 student. Now that how much of size 50 by 50 with a thickness of 3, 4, 5, 6, and then what is that weight 4.6, right? 6, 7.69, etc. How much of area it furnishes? Let us say this ISA 50 by 50 by 3 with 4.6 kg per meter can furnish an area of 5.9, and moment of inertia about that major axis of bending 13.8 centimeter to the power 4, and about minor, the section modulus about major axis of bending 3.8 centimeter to the power 3 centimeter cube, and the radius of gyration about major axis RXX 1.53, and the other properties. What is that center of distance of the center of gravity? This CXX value from the extreme compression flange is equal to 1.32 or 13.2 mm, and the distance back to back of these angles, right? This distance, what now I'm highlighting is this distance. If at all there is no gusset plate, if there is no gusset plate like this, right? Generally we will be providing the gusset plate, right? If there is no gusset plate, then there will be directly back to back, right? This is how a gusset plate, right? If there is no gusset plate, two angles back to back, like this, two angles back to back, right? There, in such a case 0. If there is a gusset plate of say 0.6 thick or 6 mm thick like this, then what are the properties, right? In either of the case you can see the properties. If no they are back to back directly without any gusset plate, then you can see 2.02, and if a gusset plate is there with 6 mm, then the radius of gyration is equal to 2.2, right? Without a plate, it furnishes 2.02 radius of gyration about y axis, minor axis 2.02, whereas if a gusset plate of 6 mm thick is used, it will now give 2.22. slowly it increases. If I use a 22 mm gusset plate, it furnishes 28.6 mm about weak axis. That is how the different sectional properties, students, right? Now I hope you are understanding the discussions. Now let us move to the other discussion, students, right? Once we see this like this, you can see for other section students at a quicker pace. I'll not go through all these, right? Now this is how the same table 22 properties of two angles back to back. However, these are now unequal angle sections. Where longer legs are back to back. That is how longer leg is connected to a gusset plate. Longer plate is connected to a gusset plate. Then in such a case, there is a longer legs back to back, right? Like this, right? Then I think as we have discussed in the previous case, it furnishes the different section modulus and the moment of inertia and Rxx, Ryy. All other properties you can note down as we have discussed in the previous case, right? Whereas this table 22, the properties of two angles back to back, whereas here now unequal angles, shorter legs back to back, right? Like this. If shorter leg is provided, to one side of a gusset plate, like this, student, right? Where shorter leg is provided, where shorter leg is connected to gusset plate like this, gusset plate, right? Longer leg is outstanding leg, right? Like this, right? Shorter leg is connected to gusset plate, longer leg is outstanding leg. Then what are the properties? That you can note down, right? The different properties as you have seen in the previous case, the weight and the sectional area, the moment of inertia about major axis, and the section modulus about major axis and radius of gyration, and the center of distance of center of gravity and radius of gyration for different gusset plates, when different angles are used, ISA 65 by 65, so on and so forth, up to uh, as large as ISA as large as ISA 200 by 150, and next this table gives table 23 gives net areas of the girder flange angles, right? Girder flange angles, if these are used in the girders as flanges, then if only two holes are deducted, generally these are required in riveted or bolted girder sections, right? Therefore, if two angles, just now we have already seen in the previous table that if two angles are provided in compression as well as tension flanges for a Weber plate along with these angles, right, which are connected to the plates by means of, say, just two rivet holes or two bolt holes as appropriately, right? Therefore, each of these angle size A by B is given 100 by 100 with a thickness of 6 mm. Therefore, that is a ISA 100 by 100 by 6 mm. If you are having that, then if you are using the diameter of the rivet or that of the bolt 20, then the net area of the girder flange angles, right? After deduction of this area, this highlighted area, right? Two areas, the net area of those angles in the flange is is given by 20.76, like that. If you have 22, 24, 27, right? That is for 27, same ISA 100 by 100 by 6. It after deduction of 27 means 27 plus 1.5, 28.5. Diameter of hole, it furnishes 19.86 square centimeter, like that. If we have four rivet hole deduction, student, now you can see the areas are varying from 18.18 to 16.38 for diameter of the rivets or bolts 20 to 27, right? Whereas for six holes, if they are applicable, they are shown. If they are not applicable, they are shown with dotted, right? Now for six holes, these are applicable now, starting from ISA 130 by 130 by 8. Yes, six holes are applicable, right? Here onwards only these are applicable with the 20 dia bolts or rivets only, right? Not for 22, right? Whereas if you move forward with 150 by 150, yes, 20 and 22 both can be used. That is how slowly, if you move to 200 by 200, all 20, 22, 24, 27 rivets or bolts can be used, right? That is how it furnishes the net areas after deduction of these rivet holes, right? Now that is how the section B, student. Now let us move to the section C. The angles, single and double angles used as struts and ties, tables 24 to 31. When these are used as struts, strut means compression member, and tie means tension member, right? Angles, single angle and double angles. Now let us show this quickly, right? table 14, properties of starred angle sections. Generally, right, that is how if starred angle sections are used with the size A by B with the thickness of this one, right, what is that area? 5.9 centimeter square, and the least radius of variation about this minor principal axis that I already discussed the other day also, right, about this minor principal axis, right, and major principal axis is RUU, minor principal axis is RVV, major bending axis is XX, minor bending axis is YY. That is how about the four axes, right, out of which the least radius of variation about minor principal axis RVV 1.94 or 19.4 centimeter, sorry, 19.4 mm, like that. You please see for other sections, these are available, right. Even now you can see if uh, if I go to this table 25 safe loads for single angle struts. If I use a single angle like this, right, of say 50 by 50 by 4, right, with effective length, right, if the angle length, that if the length of this angle is say zero point 0.5 means meters, 0.5 meters, that is how, right, 500 mm or 50 centimeter, this angle is used as a strut, a compression member like this, a compression member, then how much of load it can resist, it is readily given as a ready record for designs of the angle strut student, right. Therefore with an effective length of 0.5 meter, it can resist 3637.1 kg, right. Kg means in 10 power multiplied by 10 means 36371 newtons, 36371 newtons, or which is equal to 36.371 kilonewton, like that. If you use the same 50 by 50 by 4 with 1 meter, it can now resist a safe load of 2657.8 kg, so on and so forth, right. If you use with a span of 2 meters, effective span of 2 meters, then with a span of effective 2 meters, then now it just resists only 7 to 92.3 kg. Now we can see from this row that as the effective length increases, the load carrying capacity decreases. This is obviously because more the length, more the buckling of the column, therefore reduction, more is the effective length, therefore less is the load carrying capacity. Euler's buckling concept, we already studied that in strength of material, right. Euler's buckling concept, right, or Euler's buckling theory, right. That is how for different angles, right. Whereas this dotted line indicates that you should be using them cautiously, right. Now let us see what do you mean by that dotted. The safe load given in this table are tabulated for ratio of the slenderness ratios up to and including 250 or not exceeding 250, right. And the second note is that the values on the right side of this zigzag dotted line, right, this zigzag to the right side of this zigzag line are for ratio of the slenderness ratio exceeding 180. Therefore means for all these the slenderness ratios are exceeding 180, therefore you should be using them cautiously, right. Whereas here they are not exceeding 180, they are, right. Let us say this 60 by 40 by 5, right, less than 180. If more than slenderness ratio more than 180, then that is how the those values, right. And these are all conforming to IS 800 1956 or that of the 1984 code, right. Like that, you please see the other property students, right. That is how for single angle struts. Now let us move quickly to the other discussion, students, right. Single angle struts only, right. Same, right. Now this is how the next table is table 27 safe loads for double angles back to back when used as struts, right. That is how if I do have the back-to-back angles, the spacing between the back-to-back angles is equal to 6 mm for equal angle sections, then equal angle section. Then if I am having an angle of 200 by 200, 200 by 200 with a thickness of 15 mm, with back to back distance between these, right? This is equal to 6 mm. This is equal to 6 mm, right? This gap is equal to 6 mm. Then how much of with the thickness of uh, with thickness of 15 mm, with thickness of 15 mm, with an effective length about x-axis, major axis, just 3 meters, 3 meters effective length. Then how much of safe load with 3 meters? This ISA 200 by 200 by 15 with back to back distance between the angles 6 mm, or maybe they are connected to a gusset plate of 6 mm, 6 mm. Therefore now with a length, an effective length of 3 meters, like this 3 meters, it can resist 136292.4 kg, right? Kg, right? That gives that it can resist 136.29 tons, 0.29 tons, or this multiplied by 10 means 1362924 newtons, that is equal to 1362.92 kilonewton, 1362.92 kilonewton, right? With 3 meter length, these two angles back to back by 6 mm, like that. You please see for other section when they are placed with different, right? The same angle when used as with an effective span of 12 meter. Now you can see almost the value has almost reduced by 25%, starting from 136,292.4, it has reduced just to 33,709, just around 1 by 4 when the span has increased by 4 times. Almost the load carrying capacity also reduced by almost 1 by 4, right? That is how you can we can observe the values of the safe load carrying capacities and the inference from this table, right? About the major axis as well as similarly about minor axis. Even about minor axis also you can see, students, right? The safe load carrying capacity, is 126,300 to to a span. If the span is 20, then it is just 21,712, right? Almost 1 by 6, almost 1 by 6, right? That is how times it has reduced, right? Likewise, you can note down the other for other sections also, right? Now let us move quickly to the other discussion, students, right? Now this is how the unequal angles, longer legs back to back in table 27, longer legs back to back with 6 mm, right? With 6 mm, right? With 6 mm, so on and so forth, right? Now or with 6 mm, so on and so forth, right? Now let us move quickly to the other tables, right? Safe load for double angles back to back, unequal angles, shorter legs back to back, previously longer legs back to back. Like that you can just note down as we have discussed in the previous case from these tables, right? 27, right? 27, right? Now next one, next table is this table, student, right? Where we would have the properties of the struts made up of 4 unequal angles laced, right? If 4 unequal angles are used as say in the compression flange and as well as tension flange, 2 plus 2, right? 4. Then what is the size? H by B, right? For 120 by 130 by 130, right? 130 by 130 composed of 4 unequal angles of size 60, A is 60 and B is 40, right? This is 60, this is 40, with a thickness of 5 mm. With a thickness of 5 mm, if I use, then its unit weight is equal to 14.8, and its a sectional area is equal to 19.04 centimeter square, and the spacing between these, right? Yes, this spacing is notated as S. This is 1 centimeter or 10 mm. For that what is the radius of variation? 5.65 about RXX, and about YY axis, weak axis is 3.09 centimeter or 30.09, and the modulus of section modulus about major axis 93.6, and about minor axis 28 centimeter cube. Like that you can note down for other unequal angles also at a quicker pace. Now you can go through this now. Whereas this table 29 gives single angles when used as ties connected by one leg only. Right? If this is connected to one side of a gusset plate, right? Equal angle, right? Therefore, if this is used as a tie, tension member, right? Then how much of safe load carrying capacity when used as a tie like this, right? For this composed of one angle 50 by 50 with 6 mm, 3 mm thick, right? Its unit weight is equal to 2.3 kg per meter, and cross sectional area is equal to 2.95 centimeter square, and the minimum radius of variation is 0.97 centimeter, and holes, if at all there are no holes, 0. Yes, if at all one hole is there, then that diameter of that rivet or that of the bolt 17.5 for 16 mm dia bolt, 17.5, or for 16 mm dia rivet 17.5, right? Therefore, without holes and with one hole, what are the effective areas? Without holes 2.57 centimeter square, and with one 17.5 mm hole 1.91 centimeter square, and the allowable load is 3.6 tons, 2.7 tons, or 3.6 10 to the power 3 kgs, or that is equal to 3.6 multiplied by 10 means 36 kilonewtons, or 3.6 tons, right? Without any hole, with hole you can see it has reduced to 2.7 tons almost. It has reduced by 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is the reduction, right? That is all. With other angles also you can find what is the permissible tensile stress, tensile strength, tensile load, permissible tensile load. That is how you can note down, students, right? And the other properties from other tables are like this, right? The same, right? Now let us see the other properties, students, as the single angles, right? Same. Now let us see this next subheading, right? Double angles used as ties connected by one leg. Instead of previously you have seen single angle, if you are having double angles, right? Two angles, equal angles, right? If you are using that, right? Angles on both sides of the gusset plate. Generally angles are used on both sides of the gusset plate. Then 70 by 70 by 5, two angles back to back of the gusset plate. Then weight and sectional area, if no rivet holes, with one rivet hole, right? The sectional areas, and what is that allowable load, 19.2 tons, 16.2 tons for 70 by 75 by 5 on angles on both sides of the gusset plate. Like that, angles on one side of a gusset plate only, right? Like this. If two angles are provided on one side of a gusset plate only, like this, right? On one side of two angles, right? On one side of a gusset plate only, right? Two angles, then that is out, right? On one side of a gusset plate only, like this, right? On one side of a gusset plate only, right? Whereas previously it was on two sides of the gusset plate, like this. Two sides of a gusset plate, right? Therefore, the relevant properties can be noted down, and allowable load 17.6, so on and so forth, or with one deduction of the bolt hole or rivet hole, it is 14. Now almost you can say 17.6 tons has reduced to 14 tons only. Almost one-fourth is the reduction. One-fourth is the reduction when used as ties, right? Ties, right? That is how the other section students and their other properties, other sections when used as ties. When used as ties. Now let's move quickly to other discussions. Right now, this is also an important table 31 rivet gauge distances in legs of the angles, like this, right? Legs of the angles, right? Now if I have the leg size 200 mm, first one, right? That is how if leg size is equal to 200 mm, right, then double row rivets like this, you can see I do have 2 rivet holes for this connected leg and one rivet hole for outstanding leg, right? That is how we can see connected leg as well as outstanding leg, right? Therefore if two holes are provided, then what is the distance A from the top of this compression flange? This A is equal to 75 mm. Out of this 200 mm, up to the CG of this rivet or bolt hole is 75 mm, and this B another distance is equal to, from this CG of this first rivet hole to the CG of this second rivet hole should be 85. Therefore from the top of the compression flange, 75 plus 85 means it is 160 mm out of 200 mm, right? Whereas for this single row of the rivets, then that notation is equal to C. That is how this distance is equal to C is equal to, then if at all this is equal to 200 mm, then you can have a hole at the center of central distance of 115 mm with a maximum rivet size or bolt size for double rows of the rivets or bolts of 27 mm. Like that you please see for other sections also, students, right? For other leg sizes, 200, 150, so on and so forth, right? If they are not applicable, then they are shown with dash, is not applicable, right? Not applicable, right? Properties, right? Okay, students, I think in the class, in the present today's class, we have discussed how to make use of SP6-1, the structural engineering handbook, for noting down the structural properties, the relevant structural properties for all different types of section. I hope you enjoyed the discussions what we had in today's class, right? Now let us conclude the session, right? If you have enjoyed today's discussions, you try to click like, share, subscribe, comment and turn on notifications of our YouTube channel. We'll meet with another discussion in the next class with another topic of unit test, student. Till then, bye bye, students.